This is Boxing Tickets NA in association with Violent Gentlemen. We've finally nailed him down. We've got the diva, Gary Cully.
I'm
How
a
are
hard
you,
man
mate?
to get. Oh,
How are you?
oh, good, pal. Yeah,
We've definitely been planning this for a wee while, but obviously, the life of a boxer sometimes it's probably sometimes hard to nail you down. I know
yeah,
you probably class you as a gym rat because you seem to just stay in the gym constantly, but finally we've got you on.
yeah, for sure. I live in the gym, but I'm probably a little bit. I need to brush up on my social media as well, getting back to people, and I'm a bit all over the place. But
I,
yeah,
I
we're
think
here now. Thank God. We're here
I,
now. Thank God.
I think it's one of these things sometimes whenever you're involved in sort of boxing in some sort of capacity, whether it's doing interviews or whatever, you always have to appreciate sometimes it just takes time, so
Yeah, exactly. And wait, I think before the last one we were trying to get in was just before the Katachkov fight, wasn't it?
yeah, it was.
So pretty hectic, and then afterwards, obviously everybody was looking for interviews. So um, yeah, but
Unfortunately,
we got
left
then.
last. It definitely looks like a good day there. We can see the sunshine through your sunroof, so it's good to have a bit of
Like,
nice weather back.
skies are blue, thank God. Well, like 2 hours ago, there was hailstones would cut you in half, but it's sunny now for a little bit, so
Definitely makes for easier training and things like that.
for sure.
So sort of as I've sort of done with everybody, sort of in the first sort of interview I've done with them, sort of rolling right back to the start. I believe you started boxing at the age of 7.
7, yes.
So what was it that got you into boxing? Was it other members of family within boxing, or was it just something you wanted to do?
Yeah, my brother used to box. Like I would have grown up watching boxing and stuff. And we like I used to always be a little bit of a brat. I used to fight out on the road and stuff. But
Uh,
then my brother joined boxing, and I remember I was probably about even 5, 6, and when he was joined, and my mum would never tell me where he was gone. He used to go we were very close when we were younger, and he used to go for 2 hours twice a week, every week. And I'd be asking where he was gone, and she'd never tell me. And eventually I found out, and she said, "Look, you're too young to start. I'll bring you down when you're the right age." So eventually I got in her ear, and she brought me down and said, "Look, we'll see if they'll take you on." And you weren't meant to start, I think, till 8. So she was trying to hold me off a little bit, but she brought me down, and yeah, she knew the coach, and the coach took me in, and just fell in love with it ever since. I actually remember being about 7 or 8, and all the guys in the gym were a little bit older than me, so they used to have to put on their groin guards for
mhm.
sparring, and I used to hit them in the balls when they were too big for me. So I
Yeah,
used to be sparring guys like 14, 15 at 8 years of age, hitting them in the balls in their groin guard. So that's where I started off, in the parish hall in Nice, and yeah, we just went from there.
and I guess obviously like everybody always says it, and probably it's not sort of a bad word to say, but you're sort of a freak of nature. Like we 6'2", I think they have you in box rec. What is your actual height? Because we know
I
sometimes
think
box rec can get it wrong.
I could be a little bit taller. The last time I checked my own height, I was 6'2". But I'm seeing people lately, and they're telling me I'm getting bigger, so I must check my height again. But 6'2", I think in around 6'2", maybe 6'3". But definitely massive for the weight. Yeah, freaking nature.
Definitely was. And do you think of when you go back, at the age of 7, starting off boxing and probably, what was he say, knee height to a grasshopper? When did you get your growth spurt? Was it just you're eating too much vegetables, or what they say, if you don't eat your vegetables, you not grow up?
Yeah, do you know what? I was always quite tall and lean. I think then around when I hit teenage years, then I just took a big growth spurt. But like I would have been like 7. I remember winning the Europeans at 17, 52 kilos, but I was probably like 6 foot tall when I fought in the Europeans, maybe a little bit below that. But I was always just really tall and really lean.
Hmm.
Even then, since I turned pro, I was lightweight. So I'm pro 4 years now. And I was lightweight when I started out, and I think I was quite lean and skinny when I first started out. And now I'm kind of filling in to the weight, and starting to mature a little bit more. So I was always kind of the tall, skinny guy, but I think now I'm tall, but I'm not so skinny anymore. But I'm still holding the weight down for now, thank God.
I think when you won the Europeans, 2013, you were flyweight as well.
Yes, 52
if,
kilos.
if they didn't think it at lightweight now as a pro, at 6'2" and at 6 foot as a flyweight, you're going, how do these guys like they wouldn't even be able to probably nearly reach your, your midriff? They sort of punch you.
They could. I remember in the final there was obviously a couple of everybody's height is different, but the guy I fought in the final was Azerbaijan. Yusuf Zada was his name, but he was like, I was probably 6 foot. He was probably a good foot smaller than me. And I remember looking at him the morning of the final of the weigh-in, and his biceps were touching his ears when he was getting onto the scales, and I was thinking, oh my God, I was 6 foot, so I was like skinny, like. I remember getting onto the scales thinking, Jesus Christ, if this guy hits me there. But thankfully enough, he didn't hit me.
Couldn't get anywhere near you.
Got away and he couldn't get near me.
Who was your sort of role model, sort of growing up in boxing?
The first one I would have had was Floyd Mayweather. I remember growing up watching Floyd and Ricky Hatton, and actually being up for supporting Ricky Hatton. And my brother would have been into boxing at that stage, and he would have been up for Ricky Hatton, so I kind of just jumped on board supporting Ricky Hatton. And then I remember watching the fight and watching the build-up and going, hold on, I'm following the wrong guy here. I like this other guy. And ever since then, I was a massive Mayweather fan. And then I remember going to the club at maybe 10 or 11, watching highlights of Naseem Hamed, and I used to try and bring his style into the ring when I was sparring. This is at like 10, 11 years of age, and sticking my tongue out at people and dropping my hands, and my coach used to give me loads of stick. But yeah, that's where I got my style from, and that's where I've built it from, was watching the likes of Mayweather and Naseem, and entertainers who brought their own mark to the sport, I suppose, and weren't like everybody else.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, I always like to ask the questions, because I guess for younger ones coming up, they're going to have role models now. You've probably looking up to the likes of yourself and probably Katie and Carl and all, say just retired, but they'll always look at somebody to go, I want to be like them, or, you know, so it's always good to have somebody you like in boxing when you're growing up through the sport.
For sure, you definitely need somebody that's been there, and that you can look where they are, and you want to be there, and they've left a blueprint, if you want to say that. Success leaves clues, like they say, and for sure, I think it's important to have a good role model.
It definitely is, and obviously, you know, looking at your amateur career, you know, 2013 European gold medalist, 6 times Irish champion. You know, you turned pro 2017. What was it? Was it? You know, I know a lot of people would say, you know, didn't feel it was suited to the amateur game anymore, or probably falling out of love with it. What was it that sort of was the final nail for you in the amateurs?
Mine was like, my plan was always to be to turn professional eventually. I originally wanted to go to the Olympics first, and then turn over. David Oliver beat me then in the Irish Senior Championships to go to the qualifiers. He then went on and qualified, so there was no chance of me going. And then I remember kind of sitting back, things weren't really going my way in the amateurs, and then I remember sitting back and watching Mick in the 2016 Olympics, and I trained with the team the whole way up as a sparring partner or whatever, and I'd done quite a lot of work with all the lads, and then I seen the work that Mick put in, going out there planning to win a gold medal, and to just have it robbed from him like it was. I said, like, this is not for me anymore. I don't want to be in that position to put 4 years into this, to go to the next Olympics, give my life to it, and then to go out and just be stole from you just from judges that just through politics. So yeah, that's kind of what made my decision a little bit easier.
Yeah, but and I guess obviously when you do make a decision sometimes, or you see something doesn't go right with somebody else, you're going, well, what's the point? Let's just turn over and, you know, take it how it is.
Yeah, but I suppose taking it when you turn over earlier, you have to accept that you're going to take it the hard way as well, because my plan was to go to the Olympics, and obviously big signing on fee, signing with top promoters. That's obviously when you come back from Olympics or with Olympic medals, and that was always the plan. But I suppose I had to accept that I'm going to have to start off in the small hall scene and build my way up and sell ticket deals and whatever it may be. But I've stuck through it and put in the hard work, and been on the small hall scene, had a couple of fights on the small hall scene, blessed with a couple of fights, my early fights being in the SSE Arena, and then went back to the small hall scene again for a couple of fights. But now I feel like I'm starting to make a name for myself, and I'm kind of evolved from that scene now, and we're on to arena shows, thankfully enough.
Funny, it was always something you sort of seen. I think the last grade was the 2016 ones, which sort of, signed with Matchroom or obviously with Top Rank and things like that. But obviously we've lost the Olympics from last year, which fingers crossed will go ahead this year. But you seem to have lost that grade now where if somebody does really well as an amateur, that they get big signing on fees and stuff moving across. It just seems to be you have to learn your trade unless you're like Lomachenko level, you're not
Yes,
going to get big money now.
exactly. Well, that's what it used to be, was go to the Olympics to not for any other reason other than your signing on fee and how you're going to be promoted and managed. Thankfully enough, I reached out to MTK and they came on board, and since I've teamed up with them, they've managed me absolutely amazing. I feel like my career has been guided in the right way. So yeah, they're a major reason for me to have me where I'm at right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was always there. The belief was always there to be a big name and to be on these arena shows. Obviously, I had to accept that I was going to start off on the small hall scene. But I always knew I would evolve eventually from that and be where I'm at now and even higher.
And I guess when you were sort of making, made your debut, I think you're coming up now September, with 5 years as a pro. Where does time go?
5 years, like you've said that
sorry,
there.
4 years coming up. Sorry, 4 years coming up now in September.
Even
4 I've
four,
lost a
like,
year.
That's yeah, but even 4 years sounds like I only feel like I'm pro. Now I've lots of experience and I've a couple of good fights behind me, but 4 years seems like it's a long time to say.
Definitely
I've not got that long left. Better get me steak on.
I remember funny. I think you boxed. Was it you boxed very early in the Burnett card? And I remember seeing you was going out to the toilet or something. And I remember saying, "Do you remember you're saying boom and bang? Do you still sort of?" I remember putting it in your head and going, "Yeah, you're saying boom and bang when you're throwing your shots," and you're going, "Amma,
yeah,
he didn't know what you were doing."
Yeah, I probably still do it. I have no idea that I do it, but it's probably just punching every day. I spend 2 hours a day punching. It's just instilled there. But yeah, I feel like it gets that extra 10% of power. So that's where the knockouts come from. You know what I mean?
It's adding
That little
sound
boom
effects
at
to
the
it
end of
for
the
the
shots.
cameras.
Yes, exactly.
If you start shouting when you throw it, then they might think the opponent's hurt.
Yeah, maybe so. I might try that next time out.
Definitely. Hopefully, any opponents aren't watching onto that. But obviously, you probably couldn't ask for, if you sort of look back and you sort of go, why did I turn pro? You're flying, 12-0, 6 knockouts, 50% KO rate. When you sort of look back on it so far, you go, well, I've made the right decisions and turning over. SSE, you fought him 3 times. Devenish a couple of times, Titanic a couple of times, Ulster Hall 3 times, and more recently, obviously in Wakefield, you fought twice as well. What's it been like fighting behind closed doors? Have you noticed much the difference? Because let's face it, the pandemic probably came at the worst time. Obviously, your fight with Fitzy in Belfast, like I don't think there was anybody that was in the boxing that wasn't in that fight in some way, but the pandemic probably came at the worst time for you because you had a big all-Irish fight. Obviously, a dramatic, stoppage in the first round. You're going, right, this is it. Who's next? And then the pandemic comes in.
Yeah, well, I was just blessed that was actually probably one of the last shows maybe in the world before the actual pandemic, before everything was closed down. So I was blessed to have crowds at the Fitzy fight because that atmosphere was amazing. Like that's one that I'll never forget. That's one that's in my memory for a lifetime now. So I'm glad that I had that. I think the best time in my career, obviously, so far has come since the pandemic hit. But like the only difference would have been having a big crowd at the Kadachikov fight, where it was obviously another big knockout and another big performance, which would have been amazing to have crowds at that. But yeah, look, we moved. Like I'm sure when the crowds come back, I'm after putting in a couple of good performances there that I will have crowds there to see me. That people are excited now and they want to see me fight in the flesh. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to crowds being back and being able to have everybody there.
Definitely. And I say, hopefully, I know you put up something last week to say potentially, obviously, come back out again in June. Probably behind closed doors again. Be the last fight before, but at least right when that's done, where's the next fight? I think
Exactly.
I think the potential, obviously, I know you didn't fight at the field in 2019, but obviously the talk seems to be that potentially the field could go ahead in August. So, hands hold up and no bad cuts, and you could hopefully, rather than watching, ringside this time, be a part of it?
Yeah, 100%. I was ringside at the fail of the last time, obviously. And I'd been wasn't I meant to fight Garrido, I think, a couple of weeks beforehand, and pulled out due to hand injury. So yeah, I seen what the show is and what it can be, and I'd love to be on that one day. So hopefully it goes ahead this year. And like you said, fight in June. Hopefully I'm back, and no injuries, no cuts, no bruises, straight back in the gym, and hopefully we can get on the Fela then. Nice big show on the Fela would be amazing.
Definitely would, because I think it was close to you that the night of the Fela card had probably bent your ear more times than enough over fights and things, but seeing 10,000 people in Falls Park and them all going crazy and going mad, you just want to be part of it.
Unbelievable. It's great to be there and to watch it, but if you're a boxer and you're not fighting at it, it's obviously quite hard to watch. And especially me, I was out injured at the time as well, and I probably could have been on the show if I wasn't injured. So to sit there and watch it was quite hard. But look, everything happens for a reason. I'm back now. I've had 2 big wins, and it'll be hopefully even bigger and better next time when it is. And I'm sure it will be, because we're close to the back of this pandemic, hopefully. And when crowds come back, everybody's going to want a night out. They're going to want a boxing night out. So I think it'll be even bigger than the last time.
Yep, definitely. And as I said, I think I hardly moved the last time from the last show because you were just scared of missing something. There was action on it everywhere.
Everywhere.
And they go to the toilet, it was like 20 minutes to get back to it again. So it's just
want to take the risk.
don't have a drink, just don't and just keep focusing on the boxing and go, I'll be okay. I'll last another 10 minutes. I think I did go. I think it's when Dennis McCann blew his opponent out in like 20 seconds. And I ran to the toilet, and I think it was like a security guard toilet, and then went to the toilet and straight back out, ready for the next one.
You got into the security guard toilet.
I think 5 hours of holding wasn't good.
Lucky enough.
Probably only one sort of disappointment probably during the pandemic was probably not getting the chance to fight in Dubai.
Yeah, that came about. That was with Katochikov, wasn't it? Yeah, So that was good to be in Dubai. For me, it was and it wasn't. Like, for me, it was business, Once there's a ring there, I didn't care. Katochikov was still there. It was still for the WBO European title. I'm happy. Dubai would have been lovely to see. I would have stayed on for a few days for a holiday. I haven't had a holiday, obviously, like everybody else in a year or so. But I'm blessed to still be able to do my job and still be able to get up, go to work every morning, still be able to perform on the TV for everybody. So for me, like, it was a minor disappointment, but I just wanted to win that European title. So I didn't care if it was in Nice, if it was in Dublin. It could have been in Kazakhstan. I would have travelled there and did the same, So I'm sure I'll get to fight in Dubai at some stage.
Yeah, definitely. Just keep torturing MTK and see what they can do for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there.
Has it sort of been good in the way that obviously yourself and Lewis Crocker have sort of joined, turned pro both 2017 and sort of both come along at the same sort of level? Is it good that these are both around the same age bracket? You're obviously been built up majorly now, and so's Lewis. Is it good that you just sort of have that mix?
Yeah, I don't think anybody can fuck with me and Lewis anymore. We've been on the same shows the last 2 shows we've been on the same show. 2 big wins for us both. So we've shared a couple of cars before that as well. So I would have known Lewis from the amateur days, would have trained together and been on a couple of trips together with the Irish team. So yeah, I think it's good to have that. Like, especially at the likes of England, when the pandemic hit and we're in the bubble and stuff, it just feels like when you're there, it just feels like being part of an Irish team when you're younger. You know what I mean? You're traveling to a different country to fight against guys from a different country. I just felt like we were back to old times, back to amateur days. And obviously, it's a great thing being on the same card as Lewis, because I get to see him fight then live.
Yep, exactly. He's definitely an animal. He's like, obviously when he first started out, he was first 6 fights, all 6 stoppage wins, and people were just thinking, oh, he's just stoppages. He's just a different breed. And now he's a few tough fights have obviously added more layers to him now, and we're seeing now things coming into fights, and he's stopping people later, and you're going, where did that come from?
Yeah, and people can see he can actually box now, because I think people thought he was just a powerhouse, didn't they? And he was just looking for the knockout, and he probably was. He was young in his career, and obviously we all want to knock people out, so he was probably overcompensating and loading up a little bit and looking for knockouts. But he's settled into it now, and he's boxing a little bit more, and he's looking really good. Every time he's out, he's looking better. So
Yeah, but he actually let her double down. I'd actually done a double, you and him, both stoppage wins. You were 5-1. They beat Katochidov by stoppage,
Five to
so
one.
5-1. So the biggies slipped up there majorly, but obviously Lewis
Yes.
has ended up going to points. So as long as he's both won, we didn't mind.
You didn't mind too much. I know a couple of my mates cleared the bookies out as well. So I think the next fight I'm out, you might not get as good odds, but we we
And
got we got one got one up on Paddy Power for sure.
definitely, and obviously if the biggies are getting a bashing, it's better for everybody else.
Yes, for sure, for sure. They win enough times, don't they? So
They do.
I had a
Five,
couple of
five,
mates get their accounts closed down and stuff because they took too much money from them.
and if it was the
But
opposite way about, they'd be probably begging you to give them more.
say again.
I say if it was the opposite way about, the biggies would probably be ringing them and going,
Of
"Here, you're
course
going to
they would.
spend more
Yes,
money."
yeah, of course.
You know.
But you start taking from them, then they're quick to close your account down. But I will take as much, and I will get people as much money as possible as I can from Paddy
Definitely.
Power.
And
Just
that'll only add to the fan club even
keep
more.
backing back Gary Cully, and you're sure winner. Yes.
Sort of want to roll back a wee bit as well. Obviously, I know you and obviously Niall Barrett's obviously been quite a partnership. I think Niall said he first came into contact with you about 2005, but sort of really started getting close around 2008, 2009. Is there probably anybody that knows more about you than Niall?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I've known Niall Watson's. He probably came into Nace Boxing Club when I was probably 9 or 10. Um, and yeah, we wouldn't have been really close at that stage. Obviously, I was a bit young, but he would have took the sessions and stuff, and probably just thought I was a little arsehole. I always thought I was the shit when I was younger as well. So, but then yeah, as time went on, we used to. I think it was maybe I was 13 or 14, and school broke for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was deep into boxing at that stage, and we just spent the whole summer. We just met every day in the boxing club in Nace and just trained every day, and kind of started taking the summers and any kind of school breaks as training camps. And putting like from 13, 14, I was putting proper training camps together for whatever tournaments we were going to and stuff with Niall. So yeah, ever since then the bond just started, and we've grown since then. And yeah, no, I feel like I do know Niall a lifetime. So yeah, he's like a big brother to me, and he's great for any advice that I need. Not only on a boxing side, we have a great friendship outside of boxing as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's great. It's great to have him there.
And obviously, this last year, probably the tactics have obviously now with obviously Caitlin. I know with Caitlin on a few weeks ago, and she sort of said that obviously the success you were having was sort of bringing her on. So probably I guess it's good for you in a way where actually your fellow gym mate and Caitlin's going, Gary, you've actually helped to bring me on as well. And goes to show you, success breeds success in gyms.
Yeah, of course it does. I'll try and always pull somebody up. If somebody's on the bag beside me, I'll always try and get them to work harder. I'm trying to work harder than them, and then I'm trying to tell them to try and work harder than me. I want to be challenged as well. So I think that's the secret, is having a competitive nature in the gym. We're all there and we all want to win, and I think it's massively important for development and to improve. You need to be challenged. If you're always getting it easy, it's always going to stay easy, and you'll never improve. But you really need to get out of your comfort zone. And yeah, we've a great environment in the gym in Nace. We all bounce off each other. We're all friends. It's a great group of people that I train with, but as well, we know when to knuckle down and put the hard work in, and we all bounce off each other and train very hard.
Yep, definitely. And obviously, not forgetting, obviously, training under Pete Taylor as well. Probably, if there's any trainer, it's more popular than obviously Pete, in Ireland. Who are they? Because, not only is he probably the greatest woman of all time, and Katie is his daughter, but, the stable there, of fighters is crazy. How much has obviously Pete helped to transgress you across from amateur and the pros? Was there much of a sort of change was needed?
I think what Pete does really well is Pete hasn't really tried to change anything about me. He sees what you're good at, and he'll try and make you better at what you're good at. Obviously, we all have flaws and things we need to improve on, and we will work on them as well. But my style is what got me to where I was and what got me to turn professional. So Pete seen that, and Pete wanted to improve that style. I think we're very like-minded in the way of how you should train to be a professional fighter as well. I think the way in which we train is very tactical and very technical, and I think that's why me and Pete get on so well. Is he likes the technical side of the game, as do I. So I personally don't believe there's anybody technically in the world better than Pete Taylor, coaching wise. So I think I like to learn all the time. I like to learn about technique in boxing, and like Pete reads books from Russian, translates books, comes up with different drills, and he's always on it. He's always thinking. He's always looking for ways to improve, and I think you need that in a coach. Whereas if you get lazy and, like I said, comfort zone, you train in your comfort zone. Pete knows that he's always learning. He's always open-minded. He's always open to learn. So I think that's the secret.
And I probably not many people know, but obviously just before your fight last year, obviously Luke Keeler was fighting Andrade for the world title.
Yes.
And obviously I was thinking fight week, I was going, where's Pete? And then all of a sudden he just appears, obviously after Keeler's fight, and you're going, and I think I've actually seen him in Ulster Hall, and I said to him, how did you get here so quick? He says, I haven't slept. You know, he just got the plane straight over, and that just showed the dedication that Pete is. You know, probably, obviously social media is crazy sometimes, as you well know, but for Pete to do that and to travel the whole way back from America for your fight, for your Ulster title, I guess it shows the sort of person he is.
Yeah, he's so committed to the cause. Like when I first signed up with Pete, I kind of knew straight away that he's in this for the long haul. He's in this for world titles, and that's what I wanted when I first met up with the coach. You see guys chopping and changing, and maybe it works for them, but for me, I want someone who believes in me and believes in where we're going. I have a vision, and I want somebody of the same vision. So straight away when I met Pete, he had that, and like that's just Pete all over. He traveled home from America overnight, didn't sleep, and did my corner the following day. But that's just, he's committed to the cause, he's committed to the team, and that's just the sort of person he is, you know.
And I guess probably he's glad in a way that sort of finished so quickly, just in case he didn't fall asleep. You know, he couldn't fall asleep, obviously, in what we're predicting sort of in that fight. You know, I guess everybody was just predicting, you know, a typical All-Irish war, you know, for the finish in the first round. He was probably more relieved than anybody and going, I can actually get some sleep now.
Peter told me he was tired, he was looking for a nap, so that's why it went so early. He said, here, get him out of there quick, will you? Don't take this any longer than it needs to be.
And it's crazy, like you've had 2 title fights so far, and I think, you know, as it even went 9 minutes.
It's been, I actually think I did the match. It was 6.5 minutes, so it was a minute and a half of Fitzy, and 3 plus, like less than 3 rounds anyway. Less than 3 rounds.
If only every title fight one they got for you the rest of your career, to go on, I'll keep doing this.
Fingers crossed, yeah. I think I have the magic formula. We'll see.
Obviously, with your height at 6'2", I guess obviously everybody's going to make that assumption. They go, you know, as everybody does in boxing, everybody go, well, if he's 6'2", he's going to be weak to the body. But you're not a stupid guy, Gary. Obviously,
music to my ears, that is.
Hey,
music to my ears when I hear that.
But do you know when people say, you know, well, if you get to a certain height, well, you must be weaker somewhere else. You're a smart guy. Obviously, Pete's smart and Niall's smart. It's obviously something you've always been well prepared for, to go when somebody does get in close, let them fire away, because it's not going to dent, you know, what you're doing.
Not that I won't dent what I'm doing. If they get in close and they want to go in close, they'll get in close, and then they'll find out very quick that they don't want to be in close. They will lose the fight close distance as well, which is that I can fight a long distance, and that's been what I've been doing. But bring it close, and like when it goes close, that's probably my favorite distance to fight out. I need to be a little bit more disciplined to bring it to what my attributes play to my attributes, and to box a little bit longer middle distance. But in close, don't worry, I can handle myself in there as well.
You handle yourself on there as well. Obviously, lightweight division's probably on fire. Probably the biggest and competitive division there is. Obviously, other than the fact of Lomachenko getting beat, probably wouldn't have spiced things up a bit. You've obviously now Lopez, amongst others, and Davis and everybody else. I know, obviously, I think you put out a tweet the other day saying that you believe you're the best lightweight, you know, and you just need your chance. Do you sort of
Yeah.
look to, do you look to obviously people like Sonny Edwards obviously become a world champion last week and going, well, if he can become a world champion in 16 fights, why can I not do the same?
Yeah, and 100%. I'm 12-0 now. I'm WBO European champion, ranked top 15 with WBO. I'm at number 14 with them. So, like, I don't believe it's too far away. Maybe one or two nice wins away from an eliminator. So, yeah, by the time I'm looking 15, 16 and 0, I'll be looking to fight for world titles. I think back in, it used to be like you needed to build your record up to 25, 26, 27 and 0. But I think now as time's coming on, they're kind of jumping in big titles. Like I jumped in the Irish title fight myself and Joe. I was 9 and 0. Jumped in the European title fight with Katochikov at 11 and 0. So I think that's what guys are stepping up the levels that little bit quicker, and sometimes getting found out. Like I think we're kind of realizing now that a loss in professional boxing isn't the be all and end all. A lot of guys have had losses and come back from losses. So I think guys aren't as afraid to jump up the levels and test themselves and see where they're at. If you're not at that level when you get there, okay, go back, reassess, and go again. But yeah, I think by 15, 16 and 0, I'll be looking to challenge for world titles.
And obviously, I guess with Luke Keeler, obviously in your camp there as well, obviously he turned to full-time training, and big Conrad comes in, next thing you know, less than 2 years later, he's fighting for a world title. You can see how quickly it can move.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like when it's I was all of a sudden I was fighting in the Ulster Hall at 5-6 p.m. and then I got the chance to fight Fitzy. That came along, took that, then within 6-8 months, whatever it was, and it would have been quicker if the pandemic didn't hit, got a fight with Katochikov for the European title. So within the space of 12 months there, I'd won 2 titles and things that had went from this level to right up here. So I don't think it's far off. Like you have more eyes on you now because of obviously the fashion in which them fights ended and stuff. So I think another 1 or 2 good wins, things will really start to change, and then you're in the life changing fights then.
And sort of looking at the UK and Ireland sort of scene at the moment, but obviously James Tennyson obviously stopped by Mexican Saturday past. Maxie Hughes obviously becoming British champion, beating Hilo. You've Liam Walt. There's a couple of fighters within the MTK stable, and MTK has always been good in making fights within the stables. Is there any sort of fighters you sort of have? Not that we're looking you to call anybody out or anything like that, but is there anybody you sort of have your eye on to sort of help progress the levels quicker?
Anybody who's ahead of me, genuinely, anybody who's ahead of me. There's like, I don't need to be fighting in fights, and I don't need to ever go back to a 4-rounder or a 6-rounder to keep busy, or like I'm in the gym, I'm sparring quite regularly, I'm fit, I'm ready to go. So anybody who's going to progress my career in the right way, that's who I want to fight next. So no names, but anybody who's ahead of me. Yeah, there's a couple of names there, all good names. If you mentioned, there's more. Like I would like to eventually get to America, like I've said in the past. So I think I could only be 1 or 2 more big wins from getting top ranked to hopefully look in, and they've seen what's been going on. So yeah, hopefully just keep working hard and get my major break. And look, whoever's going to progress my career in the right way to get me to world titles, I'll fight. I'm not fussy. I think I'm the 6'2" lightweight here. I'm the one with all the advantages. You know what I mean? People are trying to, not that people are trying to avoid me, but obviously I'm not your standard lightweight, so people will try and navigate around me if they can. Whereas I'm open to fighting anybody who's ahead of me. I'm there.
The boogeyman, as they call it. Isn't that what they
Yes,
call it?
exactly.
The boogeyman everybody avoids.
I think so. I'm being honest here. If I was 5'6", 5'7", and I was lightweight, I wouldn't want anything got to do with a 6'2" southpaw who's proved in his last 2 fights that he can punch too. So I think people will try and navigate their way around me if they can. But look, I've got the best management company in the world. I'll be guided right, and I'm not far away from world titles.
Definitely. I guess obviously when I sort of look at the rankings in the WBO and things like that, it's probably hard not to probably look at a fight like with Lee Selby, former world champion, and probably look at him as probably saying, if you fight Lee Selby and beat Lee Selby, then you're ready for world title.
For sure, he's been there and done it, so he's a great name as well. He's experienced. learn loads. But he's still a massive threat as well, which you have to look at. He's not just in the rankings for to be there to be beaten. He's still a competitor there, you know. There's a couple of guys there, and as well when the rankings come out, you see yourself at number 14, and then you kind of look at number 6, number 7. I think Linares was 6, Lomachenko was 3 or something, and you see all them big names. It's quite like I was a bit taken aback, but I feel like I'm not far off them names either. Probably another win, maybe another 2 wins, a little bit of experience built, and I'll be looking for them names too.
And I guess obviously, you know, if Lopez beats Cambosa Jr., and I think it's next month, I think the talk was then him moving up to 140, so you could potentially have 3 world titles being sort of vacated, and people that may be on ahead of you saying that about BO rankings, getting fights with another organisation, and you know, the next thing you could be top 5, and you're going, where did that come from?
Yeah, exactly. I think eventually, like Lopez is quite big for 135, so I think eventually what's going to happen is he's going to look, if he wins, that is, he's going to vacate the belts, and the belts are going to scatter across the divisions. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I just want myself in the best possible position that I can be in for when that does happen, or when any opportunity presents itself, that I'm ready to take it. So I can't focus too much on what Lopez is doing or Cambosa is doing. When the time is right, and when them guys are available, that's when I'll be thinking about them.
Yep, definitely. Well, look, Gary, I know obviously you have another session at 5 o'clock, and we obviously don't want to be keeping you on here too long, and then missing valuable sessions and stuff like that. But obviously, want to thank you.
100 burpees for every minute you're late. That is, Stephen. So
how many burpees?
100 burpees for every minute that you're late.
So 5 minutes will keep you late then.
Yes.
I think I'll be getting a punishment beating the next time you're in Belfast.
That's my warm-up, 500 burpees.
I know Niall will be on the flat out to us as well, going, you know, what are you keeping him for? You know, I'll be getting punished in more ways than one, you know.
You'll be in trouble if you keep me, yeah, for sure.
Definitely would. But look, obviously I want to thank you for obviously jumping on and having a chat with us. Obviously, hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, fight news will be soon dropping for you, and get you back in the ring and win some more money. Yeah,
100%. Like I said, keep on Paddy Power, keep betting Gary Cully, and we'll close them down soon enough.
We definitely will. But listen, thanks very much for jumping on, having a chat, and we'll catch up again soon.
Nice one, pal. Thanks a million for your time.